Everyone, I am Jibisha, lecturer of Global College of Allied Health Sciences. Today we are discussing about the topic radiation sources. What is meant by radiation? Radiation is the energy comes from a source and travels through some materials or space. In every day, we are exposed to radiation from various sources. The source of radiation are classified into two types. They are first one is natural radiation source and second one is artificial radiation source. The annual average per capita total effective dose is equivalent to 3.0 msv. About 82% of the above exposure arises from naturally occurring sources. 80% arises from the artificial radiation sources, in which medical x-rays is the major contributor, equal to 58%. Background radiation involves both natural and man-made low level of radiation exposure to all members of the public. This will vary with region. Kerala and Brazil have high background levels of radiation, about 100 msv per year. Then move into natural radiation sources. Natural radiation sources are cosmic rays, terrestrial radionuclides from natural radioisotopes, internal radioisotopes. Humans are primarily exposed to natural radiation from sun. Cosmic rays are naturally occurring radioactive elements found in rocks, food and environment. Cosmic rays are outer world radiation comprising energetic protons and alpha particles. They can be divided into primary and secondary cosmic rays. The primary cosmic rays are photons collide with atmosphere producing showers of secondary particles, electrons, muons and electromagnetic radiation. Cosmic exposure increases with altitudes. It is doubling in every 1500 meter and it is greater at earth poles than equator. An air traveler is exposed to increased level of cosmic rays. Traveling in a transcontinental flight may yield about 10 μsv per hour. Structures provide some protection against cosmic rays and hence the indoor effective dose is 20% lesser than outdoor. Then terrestrial radionuclides. Terrestrial radionuclides have been present since information of Earth. They are mainly contribute in the form of external exposure, inhaled and injection. K14, U238 and thorium-232 are mainly responsible for the external exposure. The biggest contributor of terrestrial radiation is radon-222 of the order of 2 msv per year. Radon is emitted by naturally occurring uranium-238 in soil. Hence, inhalation exposure is due to radon-222 and its decay products. Radon daughters attach to aerosols and are deposited in the lungs. They may irritate bronchial mucosa and may induce bronchial cancer. Internal radionuclides includes potassium-14 and carbon-14, which are present in the human body. The main contributor is K14 and emits beta and alpha rays. Radon, which emanates from the ground, is another important source of the natural radiation. Nuclear reactor, which are spontaneously are set to the example of the radioactive. The following are the major natural radioactive sources: banana, lime beans, the sun, the ground beneath our feet, inside you. First one, banana. One of the most common source of natural radiation that may people don't suspect bananas, which seeing naturally very high potassium 40. Other common food that contains elevated level of the radioactive element include carrot and white potato, which carry slightly lower level of potassium 14. Other common then lima beans. Lima beans has about 50% more potassium 14 than banana, and also very small amount of radon 224. The sun. The sun gives off quite a bit of radiation known as cosmic radiation, which originates from source outside the solar system. Luckily of the life on Earth, however, most of the energy is intercepted and absorbed by the Earth magnetosphere and ozone layer. Cosmic radiation contains proton, electron, and other particles like alpha and X-rays. The ground beneath our feet. The other source of naturally occurring radioactivity from minerals and materials buried in the earth. Most common is potassium 14, uranium 236, and thorium 232. Radon is being a problem in some houses and other buildings, usually through cracks in solid foundations and other accumulating in the room, and poor ventilation. Enhanced natural sources. Enhanced natural sources consist of building material, mining, and agricultural combustible fuel, consumer products like tobacco and radon gas dissolved in domestic water supply. Building materials, bricks, concrete, granite consist of uranium, thorium, and potassium. Then include some smoke alarms, gas lantern mantles, and dental prostheses, certain ceramics, and optical lenses. And then artificial radiation sources. The artificial radiation sources include medical exposure, radioactive fallout, nuclear power, occupational workers. Radiation used in medicine, nuclear power plants, industry are called as the artificial radiation sources. Mainly used as the man-made radiation include medical facilities such as hospital facilities, nuclear such as uranium mills, and in nuclear weapons. Nuclear test and radiological source of man-made or artificial radiation. The following are the artificial radiation sources. The occupational workers arises from mining, 12 MSV per year, nuclear power operation, medical diagnosis, therapy, aviation, research, non-uranium mining, and application of phosphor fertilizers. It contributes about 2% of artificial radiation exposure. The uranium miners, nuclear power operators, air crews, X-ray technologists, and radiologists receive an annual effective dose equivalent of 12, 6, 1.7, 1.0, and 0.7 MSV per year. Nuclear test radiation sources are called as the artificial source. They are the Grantain, quantum loops, nuclear power, terrorism, disaster, and war. Granite countertroops. Granite contain trace amount of uranium, and some samples can end up with the high energy concentration of the uranium to be measurable with the deflection equipment. Nuclear power. Nuclear power is an artificial source of the radiation using fission reactions in uranium to turn water into steam to power generate. Due to presence of the radioactive uranium and thorium, fly ash from coal burning power plants give off more radiation into environment. The detonation of the atomic mass of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki along with the nuclear power of radioactive fallout into atmosphere. In 1986, explosion at the nuclear power plant in UK also contributed the global level of atmospheric radioactive materials with a much greater impact in the intermediate area due to elements such as strontium and iodine. Increased the incidence of thyroid cancer, and fission products.